With more in the 2012 race, I'm joined by Democratic strategist John Hlinko, who parodied the birther controversy with a webpage demanding an investigation over claims Mitt Romney was a unicorn. He might be. Also joining me, Reuters columnist and two-time Pulitzer Prize winner David Rode, who never thought he'd be discussing unicorns in the middle of a presidential race. I don't know whether I should apologize or say this is all one big joke. This is kind of serious. But first, explain the unicorn strategy here. What are you doing?
Well, this started off when the Secretary of State of Arizona said that he might keep President Obama off the ballot because he'd received 1,200 emails questioning President Obama's birth, whether he was born in America. And we figured, well, if he can take some kind of cockamamie theory and force a state investigation with 1,200 emails, we wanted him to investigate something equally absurd, whether Mitt Romney was in fact a unicorn. There's never been a test comparing Mitt Romney's DNA with an actual unicorn's DNA.
And now, do we also have a picture of Mitt Romney as a unicorn? I mean, so that there now is documentary proof that he might, there it is, he might be a unicorn.
There it is.
And so we, we're now building the evidentiary case here, maybe probable cause pretty soon, but you have a way that Mitt Romney, if he's serious, can prove he isn't.
If he just shaved his head.
There you go.
Because there may be a horn underneath that hair, and he's got good hair, I give him credit. But is there a horn? America wants to know. Has it been photoshopped out? Is that possible? But if he would do that, if he would just take a DNA test, get a real unicorn's DNA and compare it, then all of this...
nobody ever accused me of being a unicorn. That shaving the head was not the problem. I confronted what it was. All right. Let's get back to the real world here for a moment. Is there any plausible reason to believe that Mitt Romney gained anything politically by continuing this birther conversation?
I don't get it. I mean, maybe he thinks he's sort of rallying the base. He's won the nomination. That's what's so strange about this behavior. And I don't think this will serve him in the long term. You know, this is going to be decided by 6 or 7 swing states. The birther issue is not going to win him Pennsylvania, Ohio, Colorado, these critical states. So I don't understand it. But,
in fact, the Etch-a-Sketch metaphor, which his own campaign gave to us so brilliantly, and we have used it, of course, he has shaken the Etch-a-Sketch and begun to recast his own image on serious issues relating to the economy and foreign affairs. So going backwards to this is mystifying to me. I don't understand why he would want to do it. Does Donald Trump have some grip on him that he can't refuse to accept?
It's mind-blowing. I mean, this showing deference to complete idiocy on the part of Romney, it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, Ronald Reagan, he would have had the character and the intelligence to push back and not embrace this just frankly jackassery, but Mitt Romney doesn't seem to have either.
I absolutely agree with that. David, let's switch to economics for a minute. This is going to be driven at the end of the day by economics, jobs. Why is the White House not making what I believe to be the better argument, rather than just bashing Bain, which has a certain political populist appeal? Why not add on top of that the argument we, meaning the White House, are better private equity investors, and use GM as the example? We have actually invested, created jobs, brought back an entire sector in the swing states, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, that will determine the outcome. Why are they not gravitating towards that?
I don't get that either. I think that they're kind of trying to paint a caricature of Romney. You've got the Obama birther caricature on one side, and then this is this silly thing. He's the evil Wall Street capitalist. They spent this big push on the Bain ads. It didn't work at all. They haven't done well, and it's actually helped Romney in the polls. Yeah. And I think that people are turned off by all this. I think most voters realize this is just sort of silly thing. They're almost talking down to voters. People are smarter than this. They don't want to have these sort of silly, cartoonish slogans, and that's all we're getting from both sides.
I think that's right. I mean, it seems to me there is an argument against certain of the deals that Bain did. They were parasitic in terms of highly leveraged, extractive. On the other hand, the public understands private equity as part of our capitalist structure. So why not say, yes, it's there, but it depends upon how you do it, and we do it better?
Well, I think that's a very good point. I mean, General Motors, who would have thought they'd be alive, let alone expanding a couple of years ago? I mean, it's mind-blowing. It was a very, very good investment, saved a lot of jobs, and it's leading to more jobs. It was a great investment, and I think they should tap that a lot more. I completely agree.
Especially because you had Mitt Romney saying, let them go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Which in the swing states of Ohio, Indiana, Michigan is going to be, I think, a millstone around his neck. Does the White House now fear being that vocally in support of capitalist investment?
I guess. I mean, and I think the president's problem in the White House is that they continue to sort of triangulate. They're so careful. They're so cautious. It's all so political. People know we face incredibly difficult problems, and they want serious proposals, I think, from both candidates. And they're not getting it from the White House. I think that's part of the president's sort of credibility issue, is he's been very careful. He doesn't sort of go too far to the right or too far to the left. It's frustrated his base as well. You know, Detroit saving it could be a new model. You know, the Chinese help their industries, you know, come back, and it's a very limited model, but we need new models for a totally changed global economy. We have to reinvent ourselves and our economy, and they should embrace it and say that, but they don't. They kind of...
And then the GM investment could be emblematic of that smart governmental investment. The synergy is a word I...
Limited.
That's right, limited, but synergy is a word I hate to use. It sounds so investment banker-like, but actually that worked and did exactly what you might have hoped it would do. Switching gears here for a minute, Mitt Romney has also said something that is completely wrong, I believe, which is that the stimulus only helped the public sector. The fact of the matter is, private sector job growth, over 4 million jobs, the public sector has shrunk. Why doesn't the White House attack that aggressively and say this has worked?
I think they need to be a lot more aggressive on that. I mean, the reality is, you know, I'm an econ geek at heart. And, you know, you go economist across the spectrum know that a stimulus works. And this stimulus did work. If you look at private sector employment, you know, it's hard to make the argument. But the reality is the last month of the Bush administration, we lost 741,000 jobs. If that trend had continued, we'd have 27% unemployment. It's very difficult to make the argument to people that things could have been a lot worse. But it happens to be the truth. The stimulus worked. It should have been bigger.
Look, the argument in the alternative is hard. Fascinating.
Totally.
Mitt Romney himself, in response to Time Magazine, in a Time Magazine interview, said if you were to slash the government budget by $1 trillion, you would shrink the GDP by 5%. He understands stimulus spending does work. I want to switch gears for a second. Fox News ran a 4-minute ad, an attack ad. How does a network get away with that? Is this journalism, or was this just Fox News becoming nothing more than a voice for Mitt Romney?
It's money. It's generating ratings. It's playing to Fox's base, and I frankly I think you see the extreme on the left as well, and it's just bad for the country. And I do think people are going to get sick of it after a while, and they are losing. I mean, they're struggling as well in terms of their ratings. But I just that's what I think. It's pandering, and it's very cynical, and I hope it will backfire.
The $1 billion we heard about today that's going to be spent by a super PAC, huge amount of money. Is it going to swamp everything else out there, or are these dollars at a certain point, are there diminishing returns so that it really might not matter as much as we fear?
I mean, to be honest, I almost wonder if this is a low estimate, because if you think about the investment, to invest $1 billion or $1.5 billion in order to gain control of a multi-trillion-dollar economy, that's a pretty good investment. So I think it could be a lot higher. Now, at a certain point, you have diminishing returns. If the message doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. But this certainly gives a heck of a big loudspeaker. And with the race this close, that could make the difference. It really could.
All right, David, you are among your many areas of expertise, foreign affairs, very quickly. Is Syria potentially an Achilles heel for the president, because this will continue to fester and somehow it will explode at the wrong moment?
It fits the Republican narrative of a weak Obama, who isn't standing up to Assad and Syria, isn't leading the world. We have to go very slowly. I think we should let other countries arm the rebels. We should do something. To me, it reminds me of Bosnia War. I covered where the world and the UN made these promises, but nothing actually happened on the ground. And I think that's the way to go. Again, the president's being very cautious, saying they'll sort of waiting. And I think it is an issue that he needs to address.
Leading from behind worked in Libya with Gaddafi. Are they learning the wrong lesson, seeing Assad in a similar position?
We were bombing in Libya. It's very different. We're doing nothing.
Not initially. You're right. But you're right. Exactly right. Here in Syria, we're doing nothing at this point.
Yes, and Romney will hammer him on this.
All right, from unicorns to Syria. I don't know quite how we covered so much turf. Democratic strategist John Hlinko and Reuters columnist and two-time Pulitzer Prize winner David Rohde. Many thanks for your time this evening.